Bassist, composer, arranger, conductor, and educator, Grammy Award winner Christian McBride has been one of the most important and most omnipresent figures in the jazz world for over 20 years. Beginning in 1989, this Philadelphia-born bassist moved to New York City to further his classical studies at the Juilliard School, only to be snatched up by alto saxophonist Bobby Watson. Since then, McBride's list of accomplishments has been nothing short of staggering. For over 20 years, McBride has appeared in numerous musical settings with just about any musician imaginable in the jazz, as well as R&B, hip-hop, and pop worlds. From playing with the likes of Milt Jackson, Roy Haynes, Chick Corea, Herbie Hancock, and Pat Metheny, to playing with and or arranging for Isaac Hayes, Chaka Khan, Layla Hathaway, D'Angelo, Queen Latifah, The Roots, Sting, opera legend Kathleen Battle, and the legendary James Brown, what has always been unique about McBride is his versatility. From his big band to his quintet, Christian McBride and Inside Straight, to his newest configuration, the Christian McBride Trio, with drummer Ulysses Owens and pianist Christian Sands, McBride constantly reinvents himself with each musical endeavor. With all that he's accomplished to date, the best is yet to come.
It was all a dream. Take one. Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Kiana Faircloth, and you're tuned into another episode of It Was All a Dream, featuring jazz bassist Christian McBride, extraordinaire. He's a phenom, he's a superstar, all that great stuff, and we're so excited to be talking to him for this episode. Hi, Christian.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much. First off, I want to find out from you, how and when did your interest in jazz develop? Let's go all the way back to the very beginning.
Well, I come from a family of musicians. My father is a bass player. My great uncle is a bass player. My uncle was a promotions man at WHAT radio in Philly growing up as a kid. So I was surrounded by music and musicians. So specifically when I got into jazz, I was 11 years old because of my great uncle's name was Howard Cooper.
So it seems like you've had a number of important people around you from the very beginning. How important has mentorship been to you in the development of your career?
Well, everybody has to get some guidance from someone. Mm-hmm. You know, nobody does it alone. As much as some may like to think they've done it alone, They always have some guidance from someone, even if it's hands-on or from afar. Everyone has some sort of a mentor, some sort of a guiding light. I've been fortunate that I've been able to spend a lot of time around some great people.
Yeah.
And because I've always wanted to get to that point where I could be, I don't know if one ever becomes a master, but just to the point where I could be able to freely express myself on my instrument. You have to be around people who are able to do that.
Yeah.
So I've always made sure I could spend as much time as I could around all of the grand masters and just a lot of older musicians who I knew I could learn a lot of things from. So that's been like the most important thing to me, particularly when I was a teenager in my early 20s. Like just go see all the older cats, even if you don't kind of like get one-on-one time with them, just be around them, just listen to what they're saying, watch what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Has that sort of been a mission for you now, to take other young and up-and-coming musicians under your wing?
Yes, although I still don't think I really know anything to be able to share with any younger musicians. Because
that's good. Stay humble.
Well, it's like I started really touring the world and like really kind of getting out there when I was 17. So I'm 41 now. So I think that's 24 years is a good amount of time to go around the world, multiple times and play with a lot of musicians. But I'm always getting reminded by someone who's 70. It's you don't know nothing yet. So when I'm around younger musicians like the guys in my trio, Ulysses Owens Jr. and Christian Sands, I try my best to just I don't like to really tell them anything. I like to try to lead by example, which is like most of the older cats did. The whole myth about mentorship is that some older musician quote unquote takes you under their wing. They put their arm around you and say, young child, I'm going to give you the secrets.
Yeah.
It's never like that. No, there's no such thing as secrets. You know, you got to get out there and get scarred. You know, you got to get dirty.
Absolutely.
You know? And no older musician can prevent that from happening, nor do you really want that not to happen. It might not be fun when it's happening, but when you look back and look at all the nicks and scratches, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, I earned that.
Right, right. Speaking of those nicks and scratches, what have been some of the obstacles that you've had to press through in order to get to be Christian McBride?
Being Christian McBride is already an obstacle. No, I don't know. I just, I mean, everybody has their own set of circumstances. Everybody has their own journey, their own story. Because I've always tried to be a half glass full kind of person. I'm always seeing the positive side of things, or I'm always trying to see the positive side of things. I don't necessarily think all of the nicks and scratches and bruises that I've had over the years, I don't really look at them as bad things that have happened. It's just, you know, learning experiences, stepping stones, you know. I mean, I can't say I've really experienced anything that traumatic that has really deterred me from being able to further my ability to express myself on my instrument. I don't believe in being, you know, in the jazz world, it's kind of hip to be crusty and jaded and angry. Right. I don't want to be like that. You know, I find musicians who are in their early 20s who are around a lot of older musicians who are bitter, angry, and crusty. So they subconsciously take that attitude like, oh, you know, I in order to be hip, in order to be down, I got to be like that. You know, I don't believe in that.
Oh, good. What would you say to those individuals, though, that take that sort of attitude and might be getting discouraged from continuing and following their passion?
You know, I would say to them, did you really think this was going to be easy?
Right.
You know, what did you really think was going to happen? You know, somebody was going to hear you play at a jam session and Blue Note Records was going to sign you and you were going to become a big star. You know, you were playing a 12-bar blues in some jam session and Terrence Blanchard or Wynton Marsalis were going to hear you and say, hey, you're going to be in my band. It's not like that. It hasn't been like that for really anybody. You know what I mean? And it's funny, like when people say, oh, well, you've had it easy. And I'm thinking, oh, really? Just because I'm a happy guy and I don't view bad things as actually being bad doesn't mean that I've had it easy. I had to get out there and learn how to play just like everybody else. You know, developing calluses on your fingers hurt.
Wow.
You know, that comes from playing, you know, 5-6 hours at a jam session when no other bass players show up and I got to keep on playing.
Wow.
That comes from, you know, older musicians, you know, giving me a horrible glare and the cussing out on the break because they called a song that I didn't know. You know what I mean? So things like that always happen to all of us. So, you know, those who are bitter and angry and who think it's really kind of hip to be that way, wait till something really bad happens.
Right.
You know, don't get angry and bitter because, you know, you're working at a restaurant, you know, you're playing in your band at a restaurant, only getting paid $75. I know a lot of musicians in their 70s who would probably smack you for complaining about something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We just lost Butch Warren not too long ago.
Yes.
He's still gigging around town, you know.
Yes, I had a chance to meet Mr. Warren. It was last year or the year before. And what a pleasure to touch a piece of history. Absolutely. And I also learned Bobby Parker passed away last night. And I had a chance to play with him last year at the reopening of the Howard Theater.
Wow.
And so, you know, a lot of these grandmasters are moving on now, making that transition.
You know, you've had the opportunity to perform across so many different genres. I mean, from Sting to Ray Brown, Milt Jackson to Kathleen Battle. Like, how is it that you're able to keep yourself going in these different genres of music and still record your music and tour to promote your own music? How are you doing all this?
Well, I didn't really make a very even balance of doing all of those different things for a very long time. I think it's only been in the last 5 years or so that I've actually been able to really focus on my own music and my own projects more than I ever have. And it's been fulfilling, because in the past, it was almost as if my sideman work was actually dictating when I could work with my own band. It's like I would be on tour with somebody else's band, and then when we were off, it was like, okay, well, I better hurry up and get my own band in, you know. And so it was never, I never got the sense that I was really grabbing my own career by the horns, or my own groups and my own music. But now I'm finally getting to do that. So it's been a fun shift. You know, I'm touring with the trio. I still play with my group Inside Straight, and I also get to play with my big band on occasion. So it's starting to shift now.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, numerous awards later, and you've recorded 12 of your own albums. And
is that what it is?
Yeah, 12. I counted all 12.
Oh, wow, all right.
12 of them, and you know, what else is next for you? Is there anything that you have yet to accomplish?
Yeah, I want to be able to do what I've been doing and more of it. You know, that's all. I want to be able to keep playing with all these great musicians, and you know, just learning from as many people as I can learn from. I don't care if they're older musicians, younger musicians, because, you know, contrary to popular opinion, you actually can learn a lot from musicians who are younger than you as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, we like to do this with everybody that we interview. Can you finish the sentence, "It was all a dream for me"? And when I ask you that, I want you to really think back, you know, to, it could be when you were 11 and you just started, you know, discovering jazz and things like that, and thinking about where you are now. It was all a dream.
It was all a dream when I sat in my bedroom when I was 11 years old and realized that I actually had a little bit of talent, and I discovered that playing the bass it seemed to be one of the only things I was actually really good at. And so I said, well, I'm going to embrace this and really develop this, because I want to be around the best so I can one day be the best. And I learned as much music as tenaciously as possible. I wasn't going to be caught unprepared, you know. So I was like, you know, I'm going to learn all of the music of everyone I want to play with. You know, so it's worked out for me.
Awesome. And finally, where can we find out about all things Christian McBride?
All things
in
Christian
case they
McBride.
don't know. I don't know how they could.
There's a couple of ways. There's ChristianMcBride.com. There's my Twitter page. My Twitter handle is McBride's World. And then there's my Facebook fan page, which is Facebook.com/official Christian McBride. So between those three sites, you'll pretty much get all you need.
Absolutely. The new CD is out here.
Yeah, the new CD. Actually, I released 2 CDs this year. People Music with my group Inside Straight came out in July, I believe it was. And then the trio CD Out Here came out in August. So both of those CDs are kind of circling each other.
Yeah. Wow.
And then next year I don't have any release dates right on the books as of yet, nothing definite, but there will be something next year as well.
Absolutely. That's so great to hear. We can't wait for it.
Oh, I hope you enjoy it once it comes out.
Well, thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. Glad to finally get to meet you.
Thank you. You
Get to see the
too.
face behind the voice.
That's it. It was all a dream. Christian McBride.